Welcome, WOLFNET. Coach here again with another Alpha Strike List Builder series. Today we're going to go over my Kell Hounds list that we used in the previous Thursday Night Throwdown. Era is Clan Invasion, and I decided to go with Kell Hounds because I like Kell Hounds. I think they're pretty sweet. So let's dive into it. First thing, we go over units, and we're going to go ahead and put in our rules: introductory, standard, advanced, types, battlemech, combat, infantry. Because again, I don't have any protomechs. We're gonna, this time, Kell Hounds is its own subsection, so it does not have a its own general list that it goes with. It's just Kell Hounds, so we have no general list this time. And availability, we were playing in the Clan Invasion, so let's go ahead and filter those. Once again, I have my list already here, so we're just going to run through and go ahead and see what we got for what we have for units. So right off the bat, can't have a Kell Hounds unit without an archer. Gotta have Morgan Kell in there. And I decided to go with the 4M, and mainly because it is the most expensive one. I chose it because obviously 354, it's a very good stat line, and it moves decently, well, not super great, but yeah, it's 8 inches. It's got a lot of armor, a lot of structure. It's got the rear, but we don't really use the rear. Nobody should be getting behind me, so let's not let's not worry about that, because nobody should be getting behind me. But yeah, 354. It's got really good long range. Because he's Morgan Kell, I skill him up to a skill 3. That comes up to about 53 points. Our next mech that we have, I kind of went a little old school with this. It is Clan Invasion, so you can't really go too crazy with it. So I went with a lot of unseens. And I don't know why I can't spell Marauder. There we go. I went with a 5S. Oh. We'll just have to edit this out. Come on. Am I spelling Marauder wrong? There it is. So I went with a 5S. This one is just an overall awesome utility mech. It's a 444 straight across the line. It's got decent speed. I mean, when I say decent speed, it's a Marauder, moves 8 inches. So the good thing is it moves just as fast. It's got 6'3" armor. I'm not super happy about it. I wish it was a little more, but again, we skill this guy down to a skill 3 just because I want to be able to hit. I'm helping myself with the percentages of dice, so I'm scaling him down to a skill 3. He comes out to be 43 points, but in the long run, I think it's better. He's not throwing a ton of dice. It's 4, but I want to be able to hit. So that's my big main reason for taking skill 3. After him, we followed it up with a Warhammer. I've got the Warhammer 7M. And man, is my computer... Yeah, there we go. I got the Warhammer 7M. It's another solid mech. It's very similar to the Marauder in types of damage dealing. It has a little more armor, a little more it has a little less armor but more structure. It's a 442. skill him up to skill 3 as well. But overall, I just love the Marauder, or the Warhammer. It's my second favorite mech behind the Marauder. So it does have AMS, so remember to use that when anyone's shooting at you with missiles. It will negate up to 1 damage. So not to a minimum of 0, but a minimum of 1. So that's another benefit of having that Warhammer on there. Next, we have a Gunslinger. So we're, if I could type correctly, we're doing a Gunslinger. And originally I had a longbow in here, and I kind of went back and forth with whether I wanted to keep him or not keep him. And the only Gunslinger that's available is the 1 ERD. That's not bad because he's a pretty beefy boy. He's got a lot to him. This is one of the more high-tech clan invasion mechs out there, even though it is an old model. It still does what it's supposed to do. I mean, it's a 5.53, 8.4. It's got armor. Again, we're gonna skill him down 3 because if you're seeing a method to this, a lot of these guys' base value are a little cheaper than I am used to picking with clan mechs and stuff like that. So because they're cheaper, I can skill them down and still have, you know, around that 40 to 50 range of PV. So right now, as you can see, I'm sitting at about 196 PV with 4 heavy and 1 assault at skill 3. And they all deal decent damage. They don't move very fast, but they don't have to. They've got long range, some heavy medium range. Yeah, and they can pack a punch. So that is what we are going with there. For the other 2 mechs in the list, I went with speed and lore, basically. So my next one is the Locust 3D, and once he comes up, you'll tell he's a speedster. So he's moving 16 inches. His TMM's 3. He doesn't have hardly any armor or structure. He's basically either bait or he's an objective getter. He can go get objectives. He can go move and hide and move and hide. So that is usually what I use him for. He's cheap, so I can fit him in just about anywhere. Let's see, where is he? He's got to be up here. There he is. Nope, there he is. Yeah, self-explanatory. It's a mech that moves 16 inches, and he can either make somebody nervous or go get an objective when I really need him to. The next one is the Wolfhound when it comes to lore, and it's the Kell Hounds. Gotta have a Wolfhound. I'm going with the Wolfhound 2 right here. It is just a really, really good mech. 28 points, moves 12 inches. It's got a TMM of 2, 331, 4 armor, 3 structure. Like there's nothing wrong with this mech. This mech is just it's one of my favorites. For the point cost and for the damage and for the movement, it's just fantastic. And again, when you skill him down to a skill 3, he's only 34 points. So it's a really, really good pickup. It's a really nice mech. He can get somewhere and help out if you need him to be. He can go get objectives, and he can deal damage. It's just he's fast enough to get into medium range right away, and he can take a hit. That 4 armor 3 structure lasts a lot longer than you think it would. It's just an overall really good mech, and it's the Kell Hound, so you got to have a Wolfhound in there. Now we're getting into my utility guys. I went with some Warrior H8 helicopters, or VTOLs. And it's the only one available to me in Clan Invasion for the Kell Hounds, but nothing really jumps off the page. It does do 2 damage at medium range, which I'm a huge fan of. The biggest thing is it moves 20 inches. So that is kind of, these guys are my quote-unquote TMM4 hunters. I like to pair these guys up, and at skill 3, they're only 24 points. So the pair of them come in really handy at around 50 points, and I like to use 50 as an interchangeable with my utility guys. So these guys can move anywhere they really want to. It is tempting to get into short range, but I usually try to use these guys to get behind enemy lines, get behind an enemy unit at medium range. That way I'm picking up that extra dice at for a rear shot. So now all of a sudden a 24 point VTOL at skill 3 is rolling 3 dice at medium range. So these guys are usually my harassers. I use them to cause problems or go hunt those TMM4 units that my opponent has. They're really handy. They're really cheap. I really like them. If you sneeze on them, they're gonna go, and that's just a risk reward that you have. But I personally really like them. And if you guys don't know me now, I'm kind of a VTOL guy. So my next one is the these guys are my battle armor carriers. I usually float between a Kestrel and a Karnov. And the Karnov UR transport, the 33 or 3055 upgrade, is about as good as they come. They don't have a lot of armor structure, but they don't need it. They do have 20-inch movement, which is fantastic. That's what I want. They don't do damage, but they don't have to do damage. The big thing is they're IT7, so they can carry an extra 3 tons on top of what my battle armor actually cost. But they're 20-inch move. That's the big thing. They're 12 points and they're 20-inch move. And because I don't have any skill 2s in my list, that means I can skill these guys to a skill 6. So they're not the greatest pilots, but you know, it does lower their PV cost down to 10. So now both my transports only cost 20 points. And like I said, they're really not there to do anything other than transport my battle armor, which we're going to pull up now. So I have Inner Sphere standard battle armor, laser squad 4. And hopefully they'll come up here soon. But the other, so the big thing with the Karnovs are, and it is a tactic that I use a lot, is I'll fly in, I'll dump them, and if they're on a objective, that's great. I'll leave my battle armor on that objective just to contest. And these guys are great battle armor. They move 6J, so when my Karnov lands, they can move up to 3 inches. They can't jump 3 inches, but they can move up to 3 inches after they're downloaded. They can get their TMM. They get a +1 for battle armor, and hopefully, you know, if you're in medium range, that's a 4+ skill to hit these guys. They're only 1 armor, 2 structure, but that's fine. The benefit though is if you have to go to an objective point and these guys are on it, I'm going to shoot you for 2. I've got 2 damage at short range to kind of make sure that if you're going to come take that objective point, you're gonna pay for it. And the other nice thing is I have just enough points to skill these guys down to skill 3 as well. So it's a very skilled down list. These are very experienced pilots. I wanted to try to, with this list, be able to make sure that I hit with all my damage. I don't have a lot of big damage dealers. There's no 7 or 8 dice getting thrown at medium range. But what I really wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that I can hit with the damage that I do have. So a couple of different things, and you'll see this in the Thursday Night Throwdown live stream, is I take my battle armor and I go and I capture a point, and then sometimes I can even get my Karnovs, you know, especially on a Capture the Flag event, I can get my Karnovs there. And now I have 2 battle armor and a Karnov on the point, and now my opponent needs to decide, well, which one's going to pick up the flag. Because you have to try to destroy all 3 of them, and it's very difficult to do that. The Karnovs also come in handy as objective getters after they've dropped off the battle armor, because a lot of people just go, well, they can't do any damage. They're just there. Well, a lot of people mistake. You know, they can still go pick up a flag. They can go still capture a domination point, or they can go harass the other person's base so they can't drop off a flag, or a lot of different options for those Karnovs. They're cheap, but they can do a lot of good with a 20-inch movement. Now you got to pay for the 2 inches to go up an elevation and land, so 2 inches up, 2 inches down off their movement. But overall, this is my Kell Hounds list for Clan Invasion. It changes a little bit in between eras, but not much. I mean, I think the Archer, the Warhammer, and the Marauder, and my Karnovs and battle armor are pretty much a standard in any era that I have. I switch in and out a little bit here and there, but no, that's my list. For what I used, it comes in at 348 points. I wish I could get it to 350, but it just, if you try to scale that Locust down, it bumps it just, I think it's 351. But I'm not too worried about it. It's just a Locust, and he's, like I said, he's either bait or an objective getter. So that is my list. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be doing more of these. Again, we have Thursday Night Throwdown coming up here in a couple of days. So be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Apparently ring the bell so you'll be notified when we are going live, or we do have other events. Again, we're making a big push on YouTube this year, so make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell. That way you'll be notified when Thursday Night Throwdown comes up, and any of our multiple other YouTube series we've got going on. So thank you very much. Keep playing, and we'll see you next time.